Okay, Gemini, this one's for you. This is Tarot Lumination. For you, Gemini, it is your August 2017 general, okay? So it's big, wide energy. It's not love and relationships. It's not going to predict your future. We're just dealing with the energy, okay? And like all the other videos that are coming out for this month, it's a lot of it's to do with refurbishment. That's what we're calling it. Where with these eclipses happening, the Leo Aquarius eclipse energy happening, the Leo new moon right at the end of July leading you into August, and then the whole new moon eclipse right at the end of August, and the big fat full moon eclipse with Aquarius moon right in the middle of August. It's going to be quite something for everybody. With the energy of eclipses, things can get ripped away and removed that are no longer working for you. Everything that's obsolete, redundant, burnt out, corrupted, fried, virus infected, it's all gone. So if you think of yourself like a little, a computer, there's you, the computer, the thing. But inside, of course, it's a very, very complex device. And it's full of stuff. And a lot of, there's the actual machinery and the components themselves, but inside that is all the code. And that's what we're talking about here. It's almost like refurbishment of the whole code, your whole operating system, your softwares, your programs, everything. Everything and anything that's not working gets refurbished. And a lot of that is also to do with the massive wall of big planet retrogrades happening right here in August. So Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto all retrograde for mostly the month. And then on top of that, we're going to have Mercury retrograde for a big chunk of the month later on. So it's like it's refurbishment of refurbishment type of energy going on here. So I'm just getting that all out there before we even do the reading. So let's get on with the reading. You've done this before, Gemini. Read for your sun, moon, and rising, and squish it all together and try and make something out of it that's useful to get you through August and the months ahead. August is a landmark month for this year, so just hang in case Tarot Illumination gets a little bit carried away in this report for you, Gemini. All right, let's see what happens. Cards were already pre-shuffled, but I like to take them right to the very last moment so that you are a witness. All right, we're going to break it up. Let's break it up, people. Break up that energy so you get a nice, clean, pure deck. Here's the general vibe, okay? Like at the core, okay? And here's where you're coming from heading into August. Here's the perpetual, ever-present now as you move through. And this is your energy actually moving through August. And this is how you're going to do that effectively and safely so you make the best of it. And here's what's coming at you. Like if you understand the laws of attraction, this could be energy that you would understand. This is what you have attracted. If you don't feel about things that way, then this could just feel like it's energy out there that is coming to you, like fated or energy of your external world, okay, as opposed to just a reflection of your own energy. So moving forward in this journey through August, you would, from here, this card in particular onwards, you would feel like the energy of like, oh my gosh, have I done the right thing? I hope it works out. I hope it works out. Oh my God, what if it doesn't work out? It's the same thing almost. So where does that lead you heading out of August and into September, coming out of the eclipses? Well, let's have a look. First, can you see I'm trying really hard to make this what I call heart energy reading? So look, there's the shape of the heart. Can you see that? This kind of energy. Trying to keep it as a heart energy reading as opposed to like a technical reading. Tarot Illumination, we don't really do technical stuff by the book. We do it by the story and the feel, okay? Just so that you know. And there's no reversals, no jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, not in this particular report, okay? Now, underneath, this little card down here is like what I feel is like the weather around you. It's like it's there, and you just make the best of it, whatever it is. Rain, shine, cold, hot, a mixture, stormy, balmy, whatever it is. You have to live with it and make the best of it. So, what have you got? King of Cups. This is very supportive energy for you, Gemini, because the whole theme about these eclipses and this refurbishment is tuning into heart energy, okay? Living your life from the heart outwards, as opposed to like through appearances or acting out roles or going along with conventions and protocols that might have been deeply embellished into your being, maybe from birth or the way you were raised or educated or the family circumstances, whatever it might be. Because a lot of that energy would be on autopilot regarding like perhaps a lot of the South Node energy that might be redundant. And inside that, you're at least going to grab the good stuff, the nuggets of gold buried in the South Node Aquarius energy and bring them forward into the Leo North Node dynamic energy where we are all headed. So, because that's the theme of this month, the Leo North Node and the eclipses that inherently go with the nodal axis. So for you, Gemini, you'd be coming into the month as Gemini Mark 1, okay? And this is the same for all the signs, because this is the eclipse season. It's happening right now, and it's the first batch of eclipses in the Leo Aquarius pattern over the next year and a half or so. So it's time to get used to it. You've already got a taste of it from the end of July with that Leo new moon. So let's see what happens. Oh, let's just pull the cards and get going. Oh, so it might feel all very weird and wonderful to you. It might make you feel as though, excuse me, I'm Gemini Mark 1, and I'm only just figuring this stuff out. I'm only just discovering this by cruising around all these tarot channels and ending up here with Tarot Illumination. I wish I'd known some of this before, because this could be a little disorienting. This could get weird. This could get a little bit scary. And that's understandable, Gemini. It could be a very wobbly experience for a lot of us because the energy is so strong and you can't really avoid the energy of eclipses. The eclipses can be some of the strongest events, transits in the heavens. They're unmistakable. You can actually feel it like in your life. You can actually feel like the eclipse energy. Oh my gosh, I'm Gemini Mark 1. What's all that stuff that's being eclipsed out of my life? Well, that's how it works, because when all that obsolete, redundant material, ways of being, attitudes, thoughts, perceptions, relationships, jobs, locations that aren't working for you, if they are truly, truly, truly not healthy for you in the long term, then they will be eclipsed. And that's kind of how the energy works. Now, if you hold on to all of that stuff as though that's your whole identity, your whole life as Gemini Mark 1, then yes, it could feel very wobbly and scary, because the whole idea with the eclipses is to like trust the process, even though you might know what's going to come out the other side. You might not know. And you're going to go through this journey, through the night, through the spooky shadows and all of that scary stuff. You might feel as though you're getting hazed or initiated into a whole new world and a way of being, and not be scary for you, but that's actually what's happening. It is like an initiation process. It is like a hazing in some ways. And you might have every reason to feel a little bit apprehensive and spooked by the whole thing. But don't worry. This card has not come up anywhere else for anyone else in this position so far, but that is still a general theme for everybody. So if you can picture yourself as Gemini Mark 1 on the understanding that you're coming into August on this conveyor belt of life, and you go into this black box, which is kind of like one of those big car washes, you know, with the plastic doors at this end that hang down and the plastic doors at that end. And you go through the black box and all that squirty stuff goes on, and the whirly gigs and the hoses and the sprays, and you come out the other end and you're all drippy, and then they might mop you down and sparkleize you as the new Gemini Mark 2. We've used that analogy for all the reports, all the readings this month, because it started that way and it just seemed to keep going. So we just decided, let's just keep going with it for everybody. So it's the same for you too, Gemini. Gemini Mark 1 coming out as Gemini Mark 2. And it's a long-term transit, okay? The ripple effect is huge. It's going to take you out of August into September, October, and November, and then beyond with this energy here. So please treat this as a big, broad energy type of reading, not about like, oh, am I going to get a cool job? Am I going to score? Am I going to get over my addictions? Am I going to, whatever it is? No. Think big, think wide. Okay, so where are you coming from? Happy, happy, happy. Okay, so Gemini, you might already, like as Gemini Mark 1, feel like pretty content with life in some ways. Or if you're not, that this is what you would love to have. Okay, the 10 of Cups is almost like one of the most ultimate happiness cards. It's the kind of happiness that you can actually feel it. You actually feel it as an experience in your world. The energy of love pretty much at maximum, where you feel it in your relationships. You feel it in the energy of love that moves through you and flows through you, comes into you from, let's say, heaven above, and then you can transmit that and radiate that out into your world around you. So you might be coming into this eclipse season already with a very open heart, a very, let's say, a receptive heart, where you are, even though you might be feeling apprehensive about this, and you might even be caught off guard, you're still coming in with a good energy. Because even though, let's say, as Gemini Mark 1, you're coming into the eclipses with this energy, that sets you off to a good start. At least it doesn't indicate too much traumatic shifting or evolution at this point. So it's a good way to be. And it might be that you've been carrying this kind of love heart energy for a long time, and you just might not have even been aware of it. You might just have been living like the Gemini Mark 1 life, where a lot of it was just literally, I'm just here to feel good and be happy and be who I am and share my happiness with you, and I'm happy that you share your happiness with me. It's a lovely, lovely energy, and it's very suitable for Geminis anyway, because you're so social, so sociable, and love to communicate and share who you are with others. Lots of listening, lots of speaking, literally like friends and family type energy. It's so, so important for you. So you might be already operating at optimal frequencies for Gemini Mark 1. However, that does not excuse you from going through the eclipses and having to evolve with the rest of us, okay? So, okay, we're off to a big start energy here. Like, if this feels like, let's just say you're just Gemini Mark 1, you're living your life just being who you are, and you can feel the current of what's happening, but you never actually paid too much close attention to it because you were just happy enough living your life. I mean, who wants to go actively looking for problems and challenges and tarot forecasts about what huge ripple effects might be happening in the near future if you're already kind of happy anyway? Why mess with that? And so, even though you might be carrying this energy coming in, deep down in the pit of your soul, you might be sensing like this, I'm not going to say ominous, but this, like this wave energy coming at you, the eclipse energy coming at you, and it's not being acknowledged, so to speak. It's just, you might sense it as a physiological experience. And so, but without naming it or identifying it or affiliating yourself with it. And so when it actually starts to happen, when at the end of July, for example, the Leo new moon, and then moving in the early August with the big eclipse, that energy actually starts, and you start to get on that conveyor belt, and you're actually being pushed, whether you like it or know it or not, through those weird plastic, types of doorway at those big black box car wash things. It might feel as though like fate is taking over. Like, hey, wait a minute, I'm Gemini Mark 1. I'm living a perfectly happy life. And you, Tarot Illumination, you're saying that this refurbishment thing is going on, it's going to happen? And I say, yeah. And then you kind of go, well, if I'm honest with you, TL, as Gemini Mark 1, I got to tell you, I admit it, there is something wobbly inside me going on, and it's making me feel a little bit apprehensive. And I was just writing it off to fate. I was just thinking, oh, well, that's just the energy of fate. That's what happens. You know, you sense things and feel things, and that's just fate. It's moving me through life, and that's just fine. And I'm just fine with that. So I understand fate. I accept fate. However, this is a very big card, Gemini, and it's saying that you might be conducting yourself in a way that you're literally floating along with fate, as opposed to responding to life energies and life circumstances and taking time to think about it before making orderly responses. And that's fine, because if you've been living in a way that's effective enough for you to feel happy, and that's great, and you have, you know, been happy enough to just literally, what's the word? Just allocate your life experience to just call it fate. Well, that's just me, Gemini Mark 1, living my life. It's fated. We're all fated, blah, blah, blah. Well, that can actually backfire on you in such a way that it almost feels like, well, wait a minute, what happens if fate works against me? Then you can always just, are you going to say to Gemini 1, you can just blame everything bad that happens on fate and everything good that happens on fate? That's kind of a dereliction of duty. Like everyone else, Gemini, you have almost like a duty, an obligation, and a responsibility now during this eclipse season to go through the refurbishment process and come out the other side as Gemini Mark 2. And there's no one who's going to escape it, not even you. Even if you just abandon yourself to the fates and just think, well, it's nothing to do with me. Everyone else can worry about that. All the other star signs, I'm Gemini. I'm immune. It doesn't bother me at all. We're just going to stay like this. Thank you very much. So, where does that leave you moving forward? Once you actually get into the black box, so to speak, you could end up going in there kind of vulnerable or a little bit naive and kind of at the mercy of the refurbishment, where it could really catch you off guard, especially when they actually start doing the work. Let's just say inside the black box, all the heavenly energies are coming down and they're opening you up, pulling you apart in pieces and saying, Gemini Mark 1, you may have been happy with the way things were, but the reality is, Gemini, this program, this software, this system, this browser, this piece of code, this app, they're all infected. They're all obsolete. They're redundant. They're out of date. I don't know how you've been doing so well so far, but we need a total refurbishment. So excuse me, Gemini, we're going to do what we have to do. And that is what could make you feel a little bit wobbly. Once you're actually going through the eclipse process itself, going through the refurbishment and coming out the other side. So let's see what happens as you start moving through. Okay, with the little Two of Swords here, it might indicate that I would rather just keep things the way they are. You see these lovely cards here? Fate's working for me, and I'm Gemini. I'm really happy. And if you don't mind, I would just rather, like, excuse me, can I just reverse and go back out where I started? Because I would rather just drive around the outside of the black box and then come back to where we are. And I'm happy being Gemini Mark 1. And I don't want to have to go through this refurbishment process. I elect to defer, to delay the decision to evolve. And Gemini, that's just going to, I mean, I guess in theory you can do that. You can deliberately choose to not to evolve. But that's a tremendous waste of energy, tremendous waste of a massive, like 20-year, 19-year opportunity cycle to evolve. So if you're heading into this feeling okay, but then realizing that, wait a minute, so this refurbishment thing is for real, you might be thinking, I don't want to deal with this. I would rather decide not to decide, okay? So that leaves you vulnerable to going through a refurbishment process that might be very wobbly for you. So how do you get through this process effectively and safely? Okay, well, with the Hangman here, it might indicate that the best way to do this is just to let go and let it happen. Because there's no way to avoid it, frankly. You might think you might be able to make a decision to like go around the experience because you might be happy being Gemini Mark 1 already. But the reality is you're going to go through it anyway. So if you're going through this August period and it feels like all sorts of things are being let's say, spinning around in your life as the wheel turns type of thing, and your sense of happiness might feel a little bit in question, where it might not be very welcome that you are being called out and questioned to go through this eclipse cycle and evolve. In order to get through it, it might be a good idea just to like detach yourself, unplug yourself from yourself, and surrender to the process. And that could be a very humbling thing to do. Like, why would you want to deliberately unplug yourself from yourself in order to evolve? The Hangman is suggesting it's a deliberate decision to surrender to the higher powers, the higher forces, and allow yourself to observe yourself as your Gemini Mark 1 self, including all the obsolete, redundant aspects of your life, and not take it as a personal insult, okay? Nobody in here is doing this to punish you or hurt you or demean you in any way. The process of evolution applies to everybody, and if you're uncomfortable with the process, it's going to happen anyway. So if you feel it's disorienting, where you almost have like an out-of-body experience, then just let it happen. Do not try to fight this energy, okay? If you become aware that this is going to happen and you graciously decide to go, okay, well, if I'm going to have to go through this with everybody else, I might as well do it. And you can do it in such a way where you just say, okay, just get on with it, people. All you refurbishers, you planets, and you angels, and everybody who do all that stuff on me, just do it. If you don't mind, I'm just going to check out. I'm going to like do this like mental anesthetic thing, and I'm just going to check out. And when I come out the other side, please can you just give me a knock and let me know when I can get on with my life again as the new Gemini Mark 2. And I'll be right there, okay? So that might be an actually healthy way for you to get through the process. Like disembody yourself, observe yourself, detach yourself, and don't take it personally. And you might actually, you know how they do in car crashes and stuff, where you become disembodied and you watch yourself living through the car crash and all that, and all the trauma. That can indicate this type of energy here with the Hanged Man. And it's a very beautiful and amazing survival tool, survival mechanism, which allows the body and soul to separate themselves as the fated events occur. Let's call this fated event the eclipse season, and then you get through it without having to feel like the full-on three-dimensional like traumatic process of going through the refurbishment in case it is traumatic for you. Instead, you can disembody yourself from yourself, observe yourself from afar, and just live through it gracefully, okay? And everything will be fine. So what does this attract to you as you go through the process? Like the way, like the energy that appears to come into your life as the new Gemini Mark 2 starts to unfold. Okay, it's like what you get, what you deserve. So, and it's just fine, because like justice is right here. It's like justice is saying, you're going to get exactly the upgrades, the new downloads, and the new softwares that you deserve. Nothing more and nothing less. And it's going to be just exactly what you need to be the new Gemini Mark 2. And we here, the retrograde planets and all the angels from heaven above, we know what we're doing. And we are grateful to you, Gemini, and thankful for you that you might be willing to make the decision to go through this gracefully by allowing yourself to detach from yourself. That's very cool, dear Gemini. We appreciate that as the refurbishers. Thank you. And please rest assured that we here are very, very neutral in our approach. We're not going to favor you above anyone else or below anyone else. You're going to get exactly the most perfect new upgrades and softwares that are just right for you and nobody else. Just you. Okay? And because that's how we do this stuff. It's custom tailored, just like you deserve. It's justice served. Okay? So even though you might be a little disoriented by this whole process, Gemini, and let's say you've decided, okay, well, since I can't get out of it, I can't avoid it, I'm just going to switch off and let it happen and let the fates take care of it because Tarot Illumination said it's going to work anyway. Cool, that's fine. But still, there can be a sense of deep trepidation as you go through this and head through this, like, excuse me, what's actually happening here, if I'm honest with myself? If my intuition is right, something very weird and wonderful could be happening. Is it wonderful or is it weird and creepy? I don't know. Well, that could be shown up here as what you might fear or what you might desire. Because deep down in your soul really does truly desire to evolve. It wants to evolve. And with the Temperance card here, look at all these huge, huge major arcanas in your reading, Gemini. This is a big deal reading for you. So I hope you take that seriously and not, I know I'm trying to make light of it and make it entertaining for you to understand the eclipse thing as we go through it, but it's actually kind of a big deal for the whole planet, okay? You included, Gemini. So if you're really honest with yourself and you admit that, okay, there might be something above and beyond fate, and if I'm honest, I do have some intuition and I'm a little bit apprehensive about what's happening. I just like to be happy. So if we're going to do this refurbishment thing, I guess I have to admit, I would like to come out of it perfect. I would like to be fully healed from all my boo-boos and warts and failings in life that I don't really want to talk about or admit to anybody. Thank you very much. What I would really like is to be fully healed, fully refurbished, to be the brand new Gemini Mark II if you insist that this has to happen anyway and there's no way out of it. So thank you very much. I would love to do all that and I'm happy to do that. I just want that to happen. However, I'm going to be very, very pissed off if I don't get to be this way. Okay, I'm just letting you know, people, I'm Gemini Mark II. If you insist and you're telling me that you are going to be, that I am going to be the new Gemini Mark II, then I want to make sure that happens. I know you can't give me a signed certified insurance document or certification that says this is going to happen. But it's okay to hope for it, Gemini. It's okay to want it, and it's okay to be scared if this doesn't happen. The Temperance energy is very, very, very much about coming into balance and finding that beautiful spot of equilibrium where everything is serenely just right for you, just the way it's supposed to be. Not a big drama like, oh, this horrible dramatic thing happened, or that's dramatic amazing thing happened. This is almost like serenity, like the new, just like, say, Gemini Mark II, sitting in a, just arriving outside your new life, your new house, your new way of being, like a brand new car or something. And it is the Gemini Mark II. And it's just sitting there, just gently glowing, all sparkle eyes, and it has this delicious, serene feel to it, like, wow. Wow, Gemini Mark II. Wow, that's so cool. That's what I want to be. That's what I'm hoping for, if I'm honest about it. I just didn't want to get into all this stuff, that's all. But secretly, I would love to be Gemini Mark II, the awesome way. So where does that lead you? Bam! Ha ha ha! You see, Gemini, what happens is, once you kind of let go and let God and all that kind of stuff and live through it, even if you might be spooked, even if it means you have to go through a feeling like, being disembodied or having an out-of-body experience, you're going to come out fine, because what happens is, remember, this is a long-term reading. This energy could have ripple effects for many months, okay? What happens is, as you come out there hoping to be this and actually turning out to be the awesome new Gemini Mark II, fully balanced out and everything working properly, and you learn how to do all that and learn how to drive the new Gemini Mark II, It's going to allow you to move forward in life again as the new Gemini Mark II, fully fired up, ready to go, ready to be and do anything you want in your most courageous, bright, and brilliant way that you've probably never done before. Even if you were already convinced that you're pretty awesomely happy as you are, and you're quite happy to live a fated existence, that's fine. All we're saying here on this Tarot Illumination reading is that you're going to be so much cooler and better on the other side, okay? This is the Knight of Wands, and it could be so exciting. You might almost feel like, oh my God, I have to tell everybody, this is actually awesome. I have to tell you, being Gemini Mark II is actually pretty cool. And I just wanted to let you know. Okay, everybody? And so what are we going to do now? And how are we going to do this? Because I want to have fun. I want to be Gemini Mark II. And I want to be all of this again as Gemini Mark II. Okay, so that's pretty exciting, Gemini. All the best. I know you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine, okay? So reinterpret as you wish, as you need. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for visiting Tarot Illumination. I love doing this for you guys. And please make the best of August, okay? Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you again soon.